We'll take him. All right, thanks.
All right, guys, good afternoon. Really proud of our team yesterday. All three phases having a contribution to win the game. Defense played well again. Got some turnovers, which was a real positive, coincided with us getting off to a fast start and having the lead there. But I just like the way our team played, the effort, physicality, the execution. There's a lot of really good things that we can hopefully build off of. Looking forward to this week. Going to be a challenge playing against a really good team, Sunday Night Football. No real injury news to update on. I came out relatively clean and should have a fairly routine kind of practice week for a lot of our guys.
Kevin, after the game, Harrison Smith was talking about how your message resonated with him, sort of connecting to his joy of the game. Just for him personally, I know all these guys love football. They wouldn't be here if they weren't. Yeah. But how does that sort of apply to him maybe differently, his passion for the game?
He's probably not a guy that, it was awesome to hear. I don't get a ton of feedback all the time on different messaging, and over the course of the year, you're trying to find different ways to connect with the guys. But no, for a guy like Harrison and the football career he's had, to have a message like that resonate with him, that's what you're in this position to do, is try to week in and week out, no matter what, find a way to reach your team and coach them and alongside your staff to give them. There's a lot of layers to coaching. That's not just X's and O's. It's kind of the relationship building, and then once you're to the place where you have their trust and you have the time built up where they are willing to lean in when you have messaging for them. That's really what I strive to do in this position, and regardless of what the previous week or weeks have been like or what the noise may be out there, I have a very important job that I take very seriously due to those players and the love that I have for those guys. So I'm always going to try to figure out the best path to helping those guys go out there, and most importantly have the joy of what you should have playing for the Minnesota Vikings in front of our great fans at home. I thought it was important for us to play well at home.
What does the fact that the game still means so much to him mean to you?
I've made no secret of him being one of my all-time favorite people in the league that I've been able to be around, not just players. His playing career speaks for itself. His impact on the game yesterday speaks for itself. But just any moment that I get with him, whether it's Friday mornings, in the one-on-one setting or throughout the week, practice field, whatever it is, I don't take a single one for granted. Not just where he's at in his career, but just he makes me a better coach. He makes me, have a unique connection to this team through a guy that's seen and done basically everything in this league you can possibly do. Winning teams that have had to endure through struggle, all the different kinds of teammates, and he still finds a way to relate at this point in his career to even the youngest guy in the locker room. So he means the absolute world to me.
Kevin, have you learned anything from him? I know sometimes coaches can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he's got such a unique perspective that sometimes as you wade through the waters of a season, it might be something that I'm thinking about, but maybe not necessarily connecting the dots the way he can from his perspective as a player and a captain and a guy that has led, in his way. If we all can probably agree that he's authentically Harry, and that's a really good thing for all of us to be around. And I know selfishly for me, I'm trying to, soak up every moment of that I can.
Kevin, after watching the film, what stuck out to you about JJ's day overall?
Decisive, threw the ball pretty accurately, especially on some, had a couple, the touchdown throw to Josh Oliver, the timing of it, the decisiveness, we kind of got the look we were hoping to get on the play, and then some of the third down completions that really helped us have a 12-minute drive, and then kind of a sneaky long drive there at the end to be able to kneel it out. I thought it was a really positive day for him.
yesterday was the first time that full offensive line group has been together through a full game. Did it just like live up to, I guess, what you guys had envisioned to them?
Yeah, not only those guys, but Josh Oliver, CJ, the play style was all over the tape. We were consistently, getting some knockback, into the defensive front and getting runs started. I thought our backs were really decisive. Both Aaron and JP ran really hard. They had great vision. They found the space, and our receivers continue to do a phenomenal job, against teams where, in many ways, historically, if we're seeing safeties activating in the front the way they started to, we might go to a different area on the call sheet, but we kept on just being consistent with being efficient in the run game, which was everything to us. I think, you take out the kneel downs, and I know there's some kind of hula hoops involved to get to what we kind of view as the actual average per carry and all those things, but it was a really positive day running the football. And then I thought there was some really great examples of protection, those guys working together, even though a lot of their time on task together has come on the practice field, not necessarily in any one of our games up until this point. You could feel the communication. I thought Ryan Kelly was phenomenal. Brian O'Neill was phenomenal. Again, CD in there for up until we pulled him out there at the end with some of the other guys. You felt him from a physicality standpoint, and then Donnie for having worked through an injury that might hold guys out for a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks maybe. He would not be denied playing in the football game. Did everything he possibly could, and then played well in the game to go along with Will. So starts offensive football when you can play that way on the offensive line is normally going to lead to a pretty efficient day.
You talked last night about living a little bit in the third down world in the game, making those situations work. Just how does it affect you as a play caller when you know the game might lead you to those third and long?
Yeah, it's just you have to have you have to have a pretty unique plan from a standpoint of if you're not going to necessarily generate a lot of explosives with how you're playing, but you are efficient, you're hopefully planning to have a lot of 3rd and 5 or less type of things. We had some 3rd and shorters where we were able to get some more runs off and get first downs. Scored on one of them in the red zone there with JP on kind of the dive play. But then you've got to have an ability, too, when you're trying to make a game plan friendly for the quarterback. It's NFL football. There's a lot of layers to it that, the word simplification and all that, it's getting thrown out. And if it was that simple, I would probably get a lot more rest throughout the week. But you're trying to call it in a way where you're continuing to maintain the principles of how we wanted to play, despite maybe some of those sequences, the D&Ds not being on your side. And that's where it helps when JJ can, go steal us one there when we were backed up on that 12-minute drive. That all started with, 2 runs and then a 3rd down scramble that he got us that first down, and then we go 98 yards for a touchdown. So decision-making, execution, no matter what you're calling, it's got to be what it was, and now it's just going to be a consistency factor for all of us.
What do you see on the Jay Ward hit on Zach Ertz?
Yeah, I hate seeing those things happen. Got a chance to connect with Zach last night a little bit, just because I've had a relationship with him, but I've always just thought the absolute world of him as a player, and just wanted to connect with him a little bit in a very casual way. It wasn't anything significant, but just thinking about the rules that these defensive players have to play with, I know for a fact there was no bad intent behind that play where things are happening fast out there. You got to be very aware of where a guy's head and neck area are on those plays, and the unique thing about that is it wasn't like Zach's knee or foot was planted on the ground, where you see some of those injuries before he left the ground to make a play and was still in the air when that kind of collision happened. And like I said, unless we start shrinking the strike zone to go along with the top side and start talking about from the ground up and giving these guys a very, very tiny window to try to make a play. It's easy to play it back and slow-mo it and start to develop hypotheses on things, but the game is happening very, very fast. I always encourage people to when you're down on the field to take in just how violent and fast the game is, because you just hate seeing stuff like that. Absolutely, regardless of color, jersey, or sides. I don't. It's the worst part of our game, and it's in many ways I do believe it's unavoidable in certain instances, and our job is to coach up the guys to make sure if it is avoidable to do those things, not only for their health, but for the other side as well.
Jonathan Allen said that Gink is a unicorn, and not only his talents and his study, but the fact that he can discern what's going on so quickly and process what's coming at him. What do you find unique about Van Ginkel's play that way?
Yeah, he can. It's not only the post-snap of what he sees and reacts to. It's the pre-snap of understanding. He knows our call. He knows his job in the call. He knows what might be the response to what we are maybe bringing even away from him, where he's aligned, offensive formation, what types of plays he can get. He's processing all that information in real time that then allows the ball to be kind of moving slower for him when he's been able to now make a play on those types of throws. Multiple times since he's been here. He's been really close on a bunch of other ones. And that's really, really hard to do when you're that close to the quarterback and you're making a play on the football like that. But it's not just those plays. Those are the ones we all kind of remember and think about. There's random second downs where he just makes a super instinctive tackle or ends up saving a gain to keep it to 3 or 4 yards when he not only does his job but then finishes helping out in another gap here and there. He does so many things that you really have to take the time to appreciate him when you're watching the tape of what he's able to do.
Kevin, there's a moment, I think, when JJ hits Jordan for that 21-yarder on the corner around the second quarter.
Yeah.
Justin immediately kind of points at JJ and cries, I think, just for the ball going in the right spot. Did you see that? And what did that say to you about his leadership or understanding of JJ's progression? Yeah,
I think Justin's the first progression on the play. He knows he's covered by a defender that probably should be, as you draw it up, probably in that area. And JJ in rhythm takes a second hitch and throws the ball to the void, and Jordan goes in and gets the ball. So it's. Look, Justin has been, I've tried to say this as many times as I possibly can. He has been elite from a leadership standpoint, character standpoint, being one of our captains and guys that drives this organization. That's no matter what the look on his face has been. That's no matter what the statistical columns say. I can't say enough about him, and that's just another example of it. I know that's been a kind of a very unique topic, and it's been a unique year for him when you consider what the previous 3 have been like, but was not surprised, and I had the same reaction on the play. So I guess that makes him a coach on the field in a lot of ways.
Kevin, there was more than a few occasions yesterday when you guys were on defense, a player would start to substitute and turn around and come back. And a lot of times it was guys that historically have not really been part of the rotation. What was that?
There's a level to it when teams are. You notice they weren't huddling. Washington kind of uses I guess you can call it a muddle type huddle, where they're just kind of standing at the line of scrimmage and they're subbing, and there's really no difference between getting in a huddle and not at that point, based upon the rules. So whether it flows changing personnel groupings with certainty, or a lot of times what happens is, you're seeing offenses sub and then maybe even sub again. And every time that happens, you could see me on the sidelines doing that a bunch as well, just because I didn't want the officials to because they do it every play. And then occasionally they'll go fast and simulate going fast and then sub. So over the course of 60 minutes, I think we can get bored with it. And, maybe our arms get tired and we drop those things down before we've had the legal time to match substitutions. Because it's one thing when teams are going, 11 personnel to 12. Okay, we can, but there was, 13 personnel, 20. There was extra line, and then they go right back to 11, and the defense deserves and has to have a time to match that. So using some of those guys that maybe would stay in, maybe wouldn't, based upon the call, I thought it was a really well done plan to make sure that we had the opportunity to match the substitutions. And then they got, on one of our turnovers, they got us on one where we had an injury and a guy was in the game that wouldn't have been if we didn't have that injury. So we ended up with 12 on the field.
So that's basically just to keep the offense from being able to go faster than they're allowed to go.
Well, when they sub, we can sub, in that process. Now you can't, I had some communication with the officials about walking the line towards having 12 on the field, and when they would deem we had 12 on the field. But it was just
basically if you go past the numbers.
Yeah, there's some unique things there, but there's a lot going on there in that moment, and that's part of it. To just kind of, hey, what are we in defensively? I'm still on my kick one of these days to get the 14 players in the defensive huddle during TV timeouts out of the game as well, because I know we were very concerned about the subbing on and off, but it's very difficult when they can basically have dime, nickel, and goal line defense in for the duration of the TV timeout, and then we come back from a couple advertisements, and then we hit that ready for play, and the play clock starts, and I'll take another swing at that, I guess, this year again.
Let's go. All right.
Thanks, guys.